Its financial situation is not determined by the country where it lives, the circumstances, or the salary it receives. True poverty is not in the numbers of your bank account, but in the beliefs you have adopted as absolute truths. While some people see in themselves a well of possibilities, others only see insurmountable barriers. Poverty, in essence, is not a lack of money, it is the conviction that you are not able, that opportunities are not for you, that you were not born to thrive. Stoic philosophers have already taught that it all starts in mind. Therefore, it is possible to be poor even with millions in the bank or rich with just a few notes in the pocket. If you want to transform your reality, don't start looking for a new job or an increase. Start by reviewing your thoughts. As long as your mindset does not change, money will not remain with you. Today, we will unravel how poverty settles in our minds, who put it there, and especially how to expel it for good. Prepare. What you will find out can reveal truths you have been hiding for years. Everything you have today is a reflection of what you thought yesterday. Money is not just paper or digits on a screen. It is energy that flows where your attention is directed. The problem is that the poor mind focuses on what is missing, not what can be created. She thinks about surviving, not to thrive. Search discounts, not opportunities. He says, I have no conditions, instead of asking, how can I do it? Stoics preached control over what depends on you, and the only thing you can change now is yourself, your way of thinking, your way of seeing poverty not as an external enemy, but as an internal virus. This virus whispers, you don't deserve it. It's not capable. It's not like them. But the real difference between rich and poor is not at the starting point, but in the strategy. One chooses to act, the other complain. One defines goals, the other justifications. One assumes responsibilities, the other blames the world. Everything is born in the head. As long as you do not master your thoughts, you will not master your money. Imagine two individuals who receive the same amount, say 10,000 reais. The first spends everything on the same day: new sneakers, expensive coffees, superfluous pampering. The second sits, analyzes, and asks, how can I make this money work for me? The difference between them is not in education or luck, but in the mindset. One acts as a consumer, the other as a creator. One follows the standards of others, what he saw at home, among friends, and advertising. The other establishes its own rules. For Stoics, money is a tool, not end. They would say, you're not what you have, but how you think. If you think as the owner of your life, you will never be poor, even in difficult times, because your wealth is internal and no one can get it out of you. Poverty begins with habits. Think small, fear the next step, postpone the important thing, and cling to the easy. How many times have you heard or said phrases like, this is not for me, I don't know how to do, I'm afraid to risk? These words are not innocent. They are bricks on the wall that separates you from abundance. Stoics recommended to observe themselves as a stranger. Analyze your thoughts. Do they lead you to freedom or fear, to strength or doubt? Each time you give up a chance because it's not time or it may not work, is strengthening the mentality of scarcity. But when you say, I will learn, I will try, I will take the first step, is building internal power. Money is not going to those who wait for the right moment. This moment does not exist. He goes to those ready to receive it. One of the biggest obstacles to prosperity is the excuse. People spend hours explaining why they are not lucky. The economy is bad. The boss does not value. The competition is unfair. The Stoic would say, enough. This is not a reason. It is an escape. The world will always be challenging, full of crises, errors, and failures. But poverty becomes a cycle when you stop seeking solutions and begin to look guilty. As you accuse others, you deliver your power. And without power, the money is not enough. Observe any successful person. She also had fears and risks, but decided to act despite them. You can do the same as long as you eliminate the limitations of your head and think as the owner of your destination. Wealth does not start in the bank account, but the moment you stop spending energy on complaints and directs everything to the action. Stoics taught that voluntary poverty is not ashamed as long as it is a conscious choice. It is not about living in misery, but of being free from greed, dependence, and race for approval of others. It is living simply not by obligation, but by choice, while preparing for more. This person does not suffer from the lack of millions. She is built to be ready when they arrive. There is a subtle difference. Some are poor and blame life. Others live in moderation, but they train their minds, emotions, and finances daily, because they know that opportunities appear for those who are prepared. Money does not solve problems. It only amplifies what already exists within you. If you are full of fears, you will remain scared even with money. If it is full of resentment, it will spend everything on revenge. But if it has clarity and discipline, money will become fuel to accomplish much more. It all starts with the question, are you a victim or owner of your life? Your answer defines your future. When you begin to change your mindset, your old ways of acting become unbearable. You can no longer spend without thinking about exchanging passengers, because now you understand the value of the focus. To understand how small habits shape their destination, coffee bought every day, the laziness of writing, spending, refusing to keep even a small amount per month. None of this is chance, it is a system. If this system works against you, it will be per even winning well. Stoics believed in the power of the small steps. One piece of bread is not bad, but the habit of eating in excess leads to weakness. An extra expense is not the end of the world, but the lack of financial control leads to poverty. You decide if you will have internal order. Financial success is not luck, it is a lifestyle. It is choosing to invest in your growth instead of falling into promotions. It is getting up early because you know that discipline generates results. It is building yourself day after day, and then money begins to flow toward you, as if attracted to your strength. Money likes clarity, and clarity is enemy of mental chaos. If you don't know where you go, you will always work for those who know. Stoics taught, before fighting, understand what you are fighting. With money, it's the same. It's no use just wanting to be rich. You need to know why. Why wake up at 5 in the morning? Why endure while others rest? Why give up the superfluous today? Without a why, of course, any goal becomes mist that disappears at the first sign of tiredness. Wealth is not a dream, it is a way. And every way you need a map. This map, you draw yourself. How much you want to win, how much you want to spend, how much you want to invest. When it takes the pen and starts to draw this plan, it is already ahead of the majority. You choose. This is the difference between those who accumulate debts and who builds fortune. The first is taken by the wave of I want now. The second understands that each grain of sand counts to lift the mountain. Think of a river. If you let the current load you, it will stop where the water once, usually somewhere shallow, where others have already stuck. But if you learn to row against the tide, if you know where you want to go, every row is tiring as it brings you closer to the ocean. People think discipline is deprivation. It is not. Discipline is power. It is the ability to say no to what weakens you, to say yes to what strengthens you. Stoic looks at money as a gardener looks at the earth. He knows it is no use sowing on the asphalt. First, prepare the soil, your habits, your mind, your routine. Then plant with patience, watering every day. It does not expect to harvest fruits tomorrow, but knows that if persisting, the harvest will come. And when it comes, it will be full. Have you noticed how the truly rich talk about money? It is no coincidence. Those who have internal security do not need to scream for the world to see. The noise comes from who is still trying to convince himself. Stoic invests in silence, in knowledge, in solid relationships, and skills that no one can take from it, while the others spend energy running after promotions or betting on dubious schemes. It builds something that time does not erase. Here is a secret that few understand. Wealth is not what you have. That's what you don't need. Stoic is not poor because it has little. It is rich because it needs less. It does not depend off a salary, a boss, a favorable market. Dependence is true poverty. When you learn to live with less, not for lack of choice, but by choice, discover the freedom formula. Money, then, becomes a tool, not a gentleman. Imagine two men in a storm. One runs desperate, trying to hold on every note that the wind takes. The other is standing firm, because he knows that after the storm, what mattered was already stored in a safe place. Which of the two do you think sleeps better at night? The difference is not in the size of the bank account. It is in the quality of character. Money amplifies who you are. If you are anxious, you will have more reason to worry. If it is generous, you will have more to share. If it is disciplined, you will have more to invest. So, before asking, how will I be rich? Ask, what kind of person I need to become to deserve and sustain wealth. Stoic doesn't expect life to get easy to get started. He knows that life never gets easy, we only become stronger. Each crisis is a test, each temptation, an opportunity to prove yourself of what you can. When you stop blaming the government, the economy, or luck, and assume that you are the architect of your financial reality, something changes. It's not magic, it is mathematics. Consistent actions over time generate exponential results. Start today, not with great gestures, but with small victories. Write down an unnecessary expense that can read a page of an investment book. Wake up an hour earlier to plan your day. Say no to an impulse purchase. This does not seem much, but this is how an empire is built, brick by brick, choice for choice. Stoic does not believe in luck, believe in system, and a well-built system always overcomes chaos. Remember, money is energy, and energy flows to where there's order, purpose, and patience. Be this place. You do not buy to feel better. You buy because it makes sense. It does not invest moved by emotions, but by analysis. Do not envy the success of others. Focuses on your own way. And so, It does not deviate from the route. It advances slowly, accurately, and comes to results that others only imagine. Because it is not hostage to the mark, it owns a reality. Stoic knows that the true value is not in banknotes, more in bank balances, not even in real estate. Authentic wealth is the ability to remain serene when everything collapses. It is the strength of not giving up when others flee. It is mental clarity when fear dominates the others. Because it is in these moments that empires are built. When the market falls, Stoic sees opportunity. When everyone complains, he acts in silence. He is not a movie hero. He doesn't shout slogans. He just does what should be done, without fuss, with consistency. He invests in himself when others bet on height. Read as the others get lost in the noise, saves when the others waste, until the day comes when they ask, "How did you come so far?" And he replies, "I just took a step, a day." Wealth is not an explosion, it's a road. And Stoic knows, the silent the rhythm, the more solid the arrival. One of the greatest traps of poverty is the constant comparison. People look at alien cars, watches, travel, and think, "I'm less. I don't have it." They live for the goals of others, to buy by status, to work for the judgment of others. So it compares only who it was yesterday. Not envy, it is inspired. He sees the success of his neighbor and says to himself, "If he got it, I can also, since he keeps the way." Does not play the game of others. Build yours. And it is in this autonomy that resides its strength. He can live simply. But he feels richer than those who drown in luxury, because his wealth is inside, in tranquility, self-knowledge, the absence of the need to prove something, walks without noise, without ostentation. And that's exactly why your financial success is lasting. Do not fear crises, does not suffer from the opinions of others. It is free, and freedom. This is the true currency of Stoic. Financial freedom is not having everything you want, but you need nothing but the essentials to feel complete. Stoic understands, who knows how to be happy with the simple will never be the dear slave. You can enjoy luxury, but it doesn't depend on it. It has money, but it is not controlled by it. This is the invisible line that separates the rich of the prosperous. Rico is the one who has a lot. Prosperous is the one who has enough. And Stoic seeks the second, because only then does anxiety disappear. The fear of losing everything, the dependence on external success. Life becomes stable, deep, confident. Money is no longer an end and becomes a tool for freedom, growth, helps others. And, paradoxically, it flows more easily, because you do not cling, only live by principles, and the universe adjusts to your internal order. Money is neither good nor bad. It is an amplifier, enhances what already exists in you. If inside there is chaos, it will become a catastrophe. If within there is order, it will multiply possibilities. That's why the Stoic people said, "Do you want to change the outside world? Start by organizing its interior." Poverty is often not in the wallet, but in character, in the inability to say no to the immediate, in the habit of escaping responsibility, in the fear of difficult decisions. But just choose, once, the discipline instead of laziness, investment instead of impulse, the plan instead of chaos, and you take a step towards wealth not as a dream, but as the natural consequence of your development. It becomes someone who deserves money not by supplications, but for the solidity of its internal foundation. And the world realizes. He always realizes when he is before who is ready for more and to deal with it. Now ask the crucial question. Do you want to be rich or want to become someone capable of creating wealth? It's not the same thing. The first is a wish, the second, a way. The first depends on luck, the second, of you. Stoics taught happiness is not in the circumstances, but in character. And the same goes for money. You may be at zero now, but if you have determination, clarity, discipline, and the understanding that you build your own reality, it is already rich. The rest is a matter of time, and time does not stop. Each day lived without focus, without strategy. No advance is a day when your poverty is strengthened. But you can break the cycle. No tomorrow, not when the conditions are ideal, but now, with a thought, a choice, an action. Thus, your financial reality will begin to change not by chance, but by your own hand. If you got here, it has taken the first step, because mental poverty hates clarity, discipline, and truth. And you let them get in. Do not allow it to retreat. Decide now. Are you the one who repeats the same mistakes or who rewrite the script? Change begins when you assume that power is in your hands, not in the circumstances, not in the past, but in the actions you take from this moment. Wealth is not a destination. It is the result of who you become in the process.